Hey VC, how are you? It's Gordon at I Dig Vinyl here, and in today's video I'm going to have a shot at David's amazing Vinyl Tag 2026. Something that I've been looking forward to do since I saw the video with the prompts last week, but I've been holed up with a terrible case of the man flu, so I've barely been able to lift my head to to the vinyl turntable, but I've managed to eventually shake myself together, and I've got a big selection. I didn't realise the vinyl tag was such a big, an epic adventure to put it together in the first place. So hats off to everyone who tries it. I'm out in my back garden because it's holiday season, which means that the family are home, and that up until now there's no sign of them leaving. So without me, that is. So if I'm going to do a VC video just now, I'm going to have to come out here and brave the cold. Anyway, I'm going to get on with it. Great set of questions. Definitely got me thinking hard, and I'll probably make a few mistakes with this thing, but I'm just going to blast through it with David's advice in my ears, which is just to enjoy the whole process. So the questions themselves, most of them were pretty straightforward. There's a couple that I didn't find straightforward at all, so I confess I've just been a bit silly with those ones, and I'm sure nobody will really mind. But all in all, it's been good fun to do. I've seen a few of the tags already, and I know that once the holiday season kicks off and middle-aged men like me escape their family even more, we'll see lots more of the videos cropping up, so I look forward to seeing them. And in the style of, let's say, Jack's video that I watched and enjoyed, I'm not alone out here. I've brought a little glass of bubbly to wish the VC all the very best for 2026. So cheers. I'll get rid of this during the course of the video. Right. Oh man. Right, okay. So first question is, talking about your best purchase of the year, something like that. I'm just going to quickly show off this album here. It's by an amazing Brazilian artist who I was not familiar with at all until very recently, name of Gerson King Combo. And I picked this up after listening to something that I heard on Radio 6. It was a feature on Brazilian artists. Interview between Jam Supernova, the DJ, and Adrian Young, the kind of guru behind Jazz is Dead records. And they were talking about some of the amazing Brazilian stuff of the 1970s, and it sent me down a bit of a rabbit hole. And then amongst that, I found this. This is definitely the funkiest album I own, without a shadow of a doubt. It takes all the very best of American funk, but it funks it up to another level by adding kind of Brazilian instrumentation, Brazilian rhythms, kind of an ethic that's all just out of Rio. So super cool. I was delighted to find it. I think I picked it up not that long ago, but it's definitely the most amazingly funky record I own, so I highly recommend it to anyone who's looking to check some of that out. I think the album's just called Gerson King Combo. Brilliant artist, kind of key in the Black Rio movement, I think, which is something that I want to find out about more in the new year. But cracker. I just noticed that glass is knocked over. Yeah, it's going to be a long video. Okay, next one is about your best live experience of the year. So for me, I had four. Varied artists. I went to see Shaq, their kind of reunion tour. It was brilliant, really lovely, sentimental, great atmosphere. Brilliant to see Michael Head and the boys on stage. I saw a new to me American band called Water From Your Eyes. I saw them in November. It was amazing. It's a packed out, kind of sweaty venue that they are too big for now. Sort of Brooklyn art punks. That was super cool. And I saw Ganavia, the sort of spiritual jazz artist. I saw her, and again it was a very different experience. They had kind of communal audience participation, nice blissed out vibe. My favourite gig though was Kamasi Washington at Glasgow Barrowlands. I think that was back in maybe March or April time. Just an amazing experience. Amazing musicians all on stage together. There's a kind of mutual adoration, admiration, respect. Everyone who's on the stage was an absolute maestro at their instrument, and the overall vibe in the whole place, which was sold out, was immense. Just dead appreciative. So I know there's a question later on about why jazz matters, so I've picked out a brilliant jazz artist there as my favourite gig of the year, and I think that's it. It was the jazz. It was the jazz in the air that made that so special. Just as I said, brilliant artist. I think Kamasi's dad was also an artist on the stage at the time. There's kind of hip hop DJing going on, but just amazing musicianship all night long. Just brilliant. Third question is about your vinyl collection in 10 years. Do you think it's going to be bigger, smaller, or much the same? Well, I am pretty sure it will be bigger, I have to say, and that's because I've only been collecting vinyl for about 4 years. So if we can see lots of people out in the VC who look like they're probably at critical mass in terms of what they have and space and stuff like that, but I only get into buying records again in about 2021, so I don't have a lot of room for growth in terms of the house at the moment, but I think, well, certainly in 10 years time I'm not going to be in the same place, and I've definitely got some space for a few more voyages into the likes of, I don't know, krautrock and things like that, so there's definitely some room for growth. It's going to be a bit bigger. Okay, question 4. This is about a song for a new song for a neighbour. Something that you would crank to 11. So this was the first question that I found a bit tricky, and I don't know if it's just because I overthink it probably. If I moved into a new neighbourhood, I don't want to play anything at 11 because I'm probably going to brand myself as a kind of neighbour from hell. I'm thinking the kind of guy that I don't want moving in beside me. So I'm sort of thinking about this while I'm out in my back garden. There's a neighbour there and there's a neighbour there. Also, at the age and stage I am, I crank nothing to 11, nothing at all. I've got a 2-year-old child and a 6-year-old child, and if I can crank something to 6, I'm quite happy, to be honest with you. So I'll take it out in a kind of more surreal level, rather than going for something mental, satanic and heavy rock or punky or whatever. How about you just move in and you're innocently unpacking your boxes, you get your vinyl out, and it's Marvin. It's all about the love, isn't it? So let's get this on, let's get it on up to 11. And you can go round to your neighbour's house with your bathrobe, chap the door just to say hiya, are you a Marvin fan like me? Here's a wee Turkish delight to say hello and I'll see you later. So nothing too heavy at all, nothing to freak them out, just a bit of Marvin. Although Marvin at 11, again, I'm not too sure about it, but we're just going to go past this one. Right, next. Oh yeah, so again, one I found a wee bit tricky. Share a favourite male and a favourite female artist. Tricky for me because I've never really thought of having a favourite female artist. It's just not something I've thought of at all. When I think about my record collection, there's quite a lot of female fronted bands and things like that, but not too much from female solo artists. I don't think I've got one that I could share. I've got plenty of stuff like Diana Ross and things like that up the stairs, but I've gone for, just to go back to Ganavia, I'll share a recent female artist that I've added to my collection. This was Ganavia, who I went to see excuse me, in November I think it was. Brilliant spiritual jazz, very very thoughtful, an amazing singer. I've got 2 of her albums actually. This was the one that she was kind of touring just there. A very honest artist, very 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 kind of serious about her craft but got a sense of humour as well. Beautiful music, invites the audience to get involved, so that's nice kind of floaty, blissful stuff if you're interested. Male artist, I don't know if I've got one again. Like in the past I would have said 25 years ago or something, there've been people like Neil Young. I've got a kind of long-standing love for someone like Bob Marley, but I don't think I would pinpoint a favourite artist as such, apart from maybe a favourite one of the moment. I don't even know if I've got that, so I'm going to show you a recent one again, an artist I'd like to find out a bit more about. It's Elliott Smith. I don't have anything else by Elliott Smith other than this album, that is Figure 8. I think it was his 5th album. It's the last one. It was released before he died. Died very, very tragically. It's a beautiful piece of work. The talent is just shining out. Definitely a lot of Beatles influences. I think some of it was actually recorded at Abbey Road, I believe, but real Beatlesy in terms of kind of guitar styling and vocal stuff. I think his death seems a bit mysterious. It's still, I think it's unclosed in terms of what actually happened to him, but a real talent, gone too soon. And I would like to check out a bit more Elliott Smith, so that is my male artist to share. Okay, moving on. So the next question was talking about dancing and having a bit of fun, so I've picked out some cool soul stuff here. Let's see, what have I got? 1 and 2. Aha! Okay, I'm going to cheat and show out 4. Why not? I've got two by the Temptations. 69, I think it's 69 or 68. Their album Puzzle People. In fact, hold on. Cloud 9 by the Temptations is an amazing album, great psych soul, super funky. Opening track, Cloud 9, is so good. You put that on, you're going to start moving in a very funky way. They followed it up with Puzzle People, which is super cool as well. It's a wee bit more kind of heavier funk, brilliant, amazing funky bass, awesome vocals. It does seem like it's just moved along a little nudge from Cloud 9. Brilliant album as well. So these are both mega funky by a great band in the Temptations. When I said I don't have a favourite male, he's one of my favourite male singers, I have to say. This is Bill Withers. Super great album, Adjustments, from mid-70s. A great album. His voice is incredible. I can't think of too many people who can sing with the range that he's got. The gravitas, the soul, it's all there. Again, great range of stuff here. There's kind of some slower, down-tempo tunes, but also a lot of heavily funky stuff as well. Bill Withers is an artist that I want to get a bit more of in the future. That's the only one I've got, so be keen to hear any recommendations actually, because I know he's got a huge discography. And let me throw this one out, something a bit different, a fairly recent acquisition, and the only one of this kind that I've got in my collection, but yeah, I would be up for getting a bit more. This is the album called Another Side by Fingers Inc. It came out in, I think it was 89. This is Chicago house music, and it's, I think, thought of as the first Chicago house album, so obviously birthing a genre that really became huge right at the end of the 80s and into the 90s. It's cool stuff. A lot of it reminds me of sort of Prince. Brilliant bass again. It's synth stuff flying around. Very kind of minimalist though as well, and you could definitely imagine it in some kind of cool Chicago sort of behind the street sort of club. Sweat dripping off the walls. So that's really cool. Fingers Inc. and Another Side. Right, where are we going now? This was a hard one because I talked about hating music. Now, if I hated stuff I wouldn't have it in my collection, it'd have been shipped out. So I don't have anything to say there. But a stinker, well, even the word stinker is a bit tough. A stinker from a loved album, what I'll pick out is from R.E.M's album Monster, which I really like. There's one song which I feel like it's wrong. It's wrong on the whole album. It's a bit annoying. It's an annoyance. I don't hate it, it's an annoyance, and it should be removed. If it were removed, the album would improve. And the song is Strange Currencies, which is the end of the first side. I think the reason it's wrong is because this whole album is a complete about turn, total change of direction for R.E.M. after Automatic for the People. They've spent a bit of time probably just kind of chilling out after releasing that huge album. They want to get back on the road, so they've written these kind of heavy rock songs that are ready to go and to fill the stadiums. But I don't like Strange Currencies because out of the rest of the album it sounds like a kind of offcut from Automatic for the People. The rest of the album is moving forward in a completely different direction, which I find dead interesting and I like it. But that song there is the kind of mandolin led stuff that did so well in Automatic, but I'm surprised that they included it here. Anyway, it's no stinker, but if you took it out, the album would improve for me. Okay. Decades, so 6 albums. How are we doing for time? Right, I'm going to blast through here. Only at question 8. David, you had so many questions in this thing. So we'll go through this quite quickly. 6 albums for 6 decades from the 60s on. I just picked stuff I could find quite easily on my shelf. I didn't opt for anything too thematically or anything like that. So first one, Albert King, Live Wire Blues Power from sometime in the mid-60s. Albert King's one of the 3 kings of blues, along with BB and Freddie, and this is really cool live blues stuff. Quite upbeat at times, really cool. He's a brilliant guitarist. He was a huge guy and a bit of a giant of the blues music scene back then. So I think I've got a couple of his albums now, and I do enjoy a little bit of blues music from time to time. This is a cracker. Another album that's new to me, which is a masterpiece, excuse me, by Hildon, another Brazilian artist. This is his album from I think 75, called Na Rua, Na Chuva, Na Fazenda. I remember that particular song, the title track there, from City of God, the movie, which I loved watching. It must have been released about 30 years ago now, something like that. Hildon's music, I'm pretty sure it's played several times in that. Great album. It is, I think it's that MTB genre, Música Tradicional Brazil. It's funky, it's soulful, it's an amazing singer. This is all killer, no filler, very chilled out, but also mega funky. Hildon. Next one, this was from my pal Jack at the Vinyl Voyage. He sent me this down recently. I've just given a few spins from the 1980s. It's the album by Felt, called Ignite the Seven Cannons. I hadn't heard of Felt at all before Jack sent me this down. I was really chuffed to get it. It's a great piece of 1980s indie. Martin Duffy on keyboards, just tremendous. One of those bands that you do sort of wonder why they weren't a bit bigger and what happened to them, but I think they had a bit of a maverick main man in charge, as the story often goes, and it just didn't work out. It's a beautiful song with what's her name? Sorry, from the Cocteau Twins, Elizabeth. Beautiful backing vocals, yeah, by Elizabeth Fraser. It's produced by Robin Guthrie. Great album. Thank you to Jack for sending me that. Something new to me. Appreciate that. Into the 90s, another one I've picked up quite recently, and it's an album that's a Stonewall classic. I'm glad to have it in my collection. Is The Low End Theory by Tribe Called Quest. To go back to that why does jazz matter question, here's another answer. Jazz is integral to mega cool hip hop like this. It's just a brilliant album. It's definitely all killer, no filler, and the jazz that's kind of flying around in the background is great. Jazz, we've got it. So many cool tunes though, brilliant stuff. So as I say, I've been quite ill the last 7 days, and I've turned myself to listen to albums like this in times of man flu. Mercury Revs, great album from is it 2001. All Is Dream. So nice and chilled, kind of great symphonic pop, psyche symphonic pop, something like that. This is a reissue from last year, and it's quite a big beast. It's got a whole kind of 20 additional tunes or something like that I've not really digested properly so far, but the actual album All Is Dream is great, and one of those ones just to kind of tune in and float away to, which I quite like. The last one from the decade, the 2010s, is another bit of hip hop, this time from Tyler the Creator, and it's his album Flower Boy. So again, he's a really good artist. This was his kind of I think you could call it his coming out album. It's a great piece of work. Huge blend of music. All sort of comes together. Again, you can let this one wash over you. Probably up there with Kendrick, one of the kind of top hip hop artists performing still. And this one is from quite a while ago now, 2017 actually. So yeah, good one by Tyler the Creator. Okay, we're motoring on, but I'm going to try and continue to go quite quickly. Next one. This one I'm going to give you the same answer that Jack Vinyl Martini gave. Hanging out with someone for a day. Excuse me. Just the birds up there. I thought about Keith Richards, and I saw Jack's video, and I thought, yep, I'm still going with Keith Richards, so he's my guy. This is the guy to hang out with, if possible. He has lived so many. This is his 1988 debut album, which is pretty cool. Talk is Cheap. What a guy though. I've watched quite a few of his videos, interviews recently. So funny, so bright, so kind of open, intelligent, knowledgeable. Doesn't take himself too seriously, but he's lived multiple rock and roll lives. So it's miraculous that he's kind of still going. I suppose someone has to be the exception to the rule, but what a guy. The Rolling Stones are probably my favourite band of all time, and Keith is the main dude in amongst that. I love the kind of the love he has for things like the blues, rhythm and blues artists, and how he kept himself busy throughout the 70s and so on into the 80s when things weren't going well in the Stones. He's kind of embraced reggae music, and he's playing with the likes of Peter Tosh and Sly and Robbie, and generally having a whale of a time all of the time. So yeah, David's questions talked about like maybe going out in the city or on a beach or whatever. I'm not too sure exactly what it would be. Near the beach, I don't know if Keith might get carried away and nip up a palm tree. It could be a bit dangerous at the end of the day if he slips out of that. So maybe, do you know what, I'd love to just go for a jam session. I'll pick up a guitar and listen to him kind of play away. Maybe we'd invite a few friends or something like that as well. But a question for him. Well, I think he's 80. I think he turned 82 yesterday, something like that. So someone with such a valuable amazing set of experiences. I would just be curious to know, do you have any kind of life lessons that you could pass on to the generation that you see, or the generations that you see before you nowadays? Any musical lessons, any life lessons? Anytime I see Keith, it seems like he's very consciously living his life pretty well, so I love that. I love the fact that he's still going, so he would be my choice for a person to hang out with for a day, for sure. Albums from artists you've tried but why bother? Okay, so I've only got one left to show you, because the ones that I have tried and thought why bother I've got rid of. That would have been Bruce Springsteen, Joni Mitchell. The last one is Genesis, and particularly this album here, The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway. I pretty much thought this would be one that I would enjoy it, but I have tried it several times, and I think I've just come to the conclusion that's fine, it's not for me, and I would like someone to take it away now and go and enjoy it. So no, Genesis and Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, no thank you anymore. Next one, an artist whose character disappoints you, or can you separate singer from song? Well, rock and roll is obviously filled with various tales of debauchery and reprobateness, so I can usually separate singer from song, that's for sure, except you've got to draw some lines, don't you? You can't, I wouldn't be too comfortable having someone in my collection if I knew they were an absolute, just a pure wronging. So just to indicate that, let's see. So I love the Charlatan's keyboard player. He did time for being involved with an armed robbery. That's separate singer from song, keyboardist from crime, no problem. Guns N' Roses, Axl Rose, he was a proper delinquent, arrested multiple times before they made it big, and I don't care. I think his album's fine. Not a big fan, but it is, you get what you're paying for there, and Axl Rose is what he appears to be. Kneecap, show you this one. Their character is questioned by the government in the UK a lot. They've been up in court and stuff like that for sentiments they have they've sort of publicly said at their gigs and stuff like that, and I'm all in favour of rejecting, or artists certainly having the power to question, and they do that very, very well. They do it really boldly, so their character doesn't bother me. I'm definitely happy to support it, actually. But I tell you the one that I've got a problem with, and I think David Atkinson maybe revealed this, it's James Brown. Now, I want to get into much more funk in the new year, and an obvious place to go would be the great music of James Brown, but the more I've read about him, my goodness, this guy is an absolute dick, a proper, utter dick. He was Superbad, and when he wrote the song Superbad, he was talking about himself. He's got a dreadful rap sheet, way beyond the normal, I don't know, drunken stuff, Jim Morrison like fighting with police and flashing in public. No. James Brown has got a rap sheet going on for like 20 to 30 years. A lot of it's violence against women, stuff like that. So, to be honest with you, I don't think I could put on that brilliant funky music without thinking this guy's a dick. So there's the line. James Brown is over the line, and there's plenty of ones that are further down, but usually I can separate singer from song. Okay, an album you'd hang on to after I've missed out one, I'll combine them. A track that brings a tear, or are you a heartless bastard? A heartless bastard. There's no way I've cried to a song. Lyrics don't have that effect. I like the music itself, more than the lyrics, I suppose. So Heartless Bastard for sure. And then moving into, where am I? Oh man, I've lost it. An album you'd hang on. So as a Heartless Bastard, I wouldn't hang on to anything. I'd get rid of it all probably. I don't think sentimentality is a great idea, in all things considered. So I would probably just cut it off if I'm getting rid of it. If I had to keep something though, okay, it'd be Rolling Stones #2, and that's because my dad, it's in his collection. It's the first album that I remember kind of really getting into, that led into those amazing worlds. But to be honest with you, I would get rid of it all. Oh man, this is going on for too long, sorry guys. VC highlight, it's my own recent competition, Scotland, Sounds of Scotland. I didn't expect anyone really to get involved at all, but I've now got 11 entries, just people sharing cool music from Scotland, so I love that. I'm delighted that people were bothered to do it. I'm going to draw the winner on Hogmanay, all things being well. So I'm delighted with 11 entries. It's just been good to do something in the VC that has helped kind of connect me into the VC, because I've been in the VC since August, so that was fun. I've also really enjoyed Jack at the Vinyl Voyages quiz, because as a newbie to the VC, I got to see lots of people and different kind of characters and stuff like that watching that quiz, so that was good fun. A great bit of work there. Favourite biopic? No, I don't have one, so skate past that mega fast. I would like to watch the Ian Curtis biopic. I heard that's really good, but I haven't seen it yet. Right, why does jazz matter? 3 reasons. Okay, well, amazing live, I've already talked about that. Why would it not matter? David, what's this question all about? Does bluegrass matter? Does speed metal, twee pop? Jazz is I'm not a massive jazz head, but I do admit I absolutely appreciate it to a huge degree. I think it's such an important foundational part of modern music. I love the freedom that's kind of innate in it. I love the fact that it's global. You can dig some guys playing all over the world really, like a bit of Ethiopian jazz. My latest one here, got this last week, Shea Hazen's new album. He's from Israel. Great jazz stuff, but it's got Middle Eastern flavours. There's kind of nods to other countries in Africa as well, but it's coming straight out of Israel, and there's not many genres that I would say that do that. This one is really cool, kind of laid back stuff. But jazz matters to me because it seems to represent a bit of freedom. It's foundational to so much of modern music. There's nothing to be scared of, just enjoy it. Don't worry about it. Okay, last request on Death Row. Now I'm just being daft with this. I know I'm being daft, but just bear with me. I didn't like the idea of being on Death Row at all. I really don't. It could freak me out, that whole stuff. So I've taken it in a different direction and put myself as on Death Row Records. Put myself there as a kind of idealistic exec, just trying to persuade Suge Knight to sign some new artists that would maybe diversify away from the gangster stuff. So I've tried already, let's imagine. I've said, Suge, you need to get into these Manchester bands like the Stone Roses, come on. They've not cracked it in America, but if you back this is going to be huge, never mind your G-Funk, let's go. Suge says no. So I try again a few years later, it's 94, and I say to Suge again, Suge, you've got to sign these guys from Scotland, they're just amazing. All killer, no filler, sign up Teenage Fan Club. Suge says, get out of my office. He says, pick a window, boom, you're gone. So that's my last request on Death Row, is for him to diversify into getting some Scottish indie into his roster, and he says no and chucks me out. Right, sell your favourite artist to a new listener. Okay, my favourite artist of today was not my favourite artist about a month ago, but I've just gone down a massive rabbit hole of REM. So anyway, here I'll show probably my favourite album by REM at the moment. This is their 4th album, Life's Rich Pageant. I think it's brilliant. I wasn't aware of what they were doing in the 80s at all. I bought Murmur and then I just kind of went from there, just got the rest of it as well. So brilliant, kind of jangly indie, dead inventive. But what I like about REM is it's just a kind of sense of evolution, steady evolution, all through their IRS albums up to Document, and then when they go into the major label, how they kind of keep their creative control, and the music just constantly evolves. So I just recently started listening to New Adventures in Hi-Fi, and again, brilliant album. So I think all the albums as a four-piece are just absolutely special. And so if you like music that is inventive, and again it's constantly moving, then you've probably heard of REM. If not, check them out. Okay, VC meetup with three folk. Who's coming? So just to finish it off, right, let me think. So I'm going to pick out David himself. He's clearly a man of taste. He's a man of intellect. I like his videos where he's out and about in the great outdoors. It's something that I like doing myself. So maybe a VC meetup in the outdoors. I'm going to invite along Vinyl Sean. He's a good guy. I've enjoyed watching his videos all the way over from, I think, from Georgia. So maybe he's got a wee bit of knowledge of REM I could tap into. Maybe we could hang out over there. Also watch some of his videos, which seem to be in spectacularly lovely weather. So the meetup's going to take place in Georgia or something like that. And because I need more funk, and not James Brown funk, I'm going to invite the 6-inch pianist John, because when I've enjoyed his videos from way back, it's that knowledge of funk. So it's always interesting to hear about. So I need to get some more funky music into my collection. So I'll bring David along for the outdoors, Vinyl Sean for the chat and the venue out in America, and John for a bit of funk. Okay, it was impossible to do this quicker. My goodness, David, it's an epic. If you've made it this far, goodness sake, please, enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you very much for watching. It's been lovely to be part of the VC. This was annoying, but yeah, I could see that coming. Cheers everyone, bye.